You'll never lose a woman suddenly. You'll lose her slowly through her silence, her distance, and the sentences she stops explaining. Because when she starts saying these 5 things, her heart's already gone. When a woman starts to emotionally check out, it rarely happens with a big argument or a dramatic scene. Most of the time, it happens quietly through her tone, her distance, and especially her words. You can tell a lot about where a woman's heart stands by the sentences she chooses. When a woman is still invested, her words are full of warmth, curiosity, and care. But when her soul begins to tire, her language changes. It becomes shorter, colder, and more neutral. She no longer explains herself, no longer tries to fix things, and no longer reacts with the same passion she once had. It's not because she doesn't care at all, it's because she cared too much, for too long, without being met halfway. And when that happens, she begins to emotionally detach, little by little, word by word. The truth is, women don't fall out of love overnight. They disconnect in stages, first emotionally, then mentally, and finally physically. But by the time she walks away, her heart has already left long ago. You'll start hearing her use certain sentences that sound harmless, even casual, but they carry deep meaning beneath the surface. These are the words she uses to protect herself, the emotional armor that hides her disappointment, her loneliness, and the realization that she's been giving her love to someone who stopped valuing it. When you hear her say these 5 sentences, you must understand she's not just talking. She's communicating her withdrawal. Her words are quiet signals that she's slipping away emotionally. These sentences are not confrontations. They're confessions disguised as calm statements. And if you ignore them, you'll wake up one day realizing she's no longer the same woman she used to be with you. The first one, the most common, is when she says, "I'm fine." Every man has heard this phrase before, but few understand what it truly means. When a woman says, "I'm fine," she's not okay. She's exhausted. She's tired of trying to express her feelings to someone who doesn't listen, doesn't understand, or doesn't care to try. "I'm fine" is her way of avoiding another argument, another disappointment, another emotional drain. It's not peace, it's surrender. She's learned that explaining herself only leads to more frustration, so she stops explaining altogether. Once a woman starts saying, "I'm fine," her emotional walls are already up. You'll notice her tone becomes softer but distant. She won't fight the way she used to. She won't get jealous, and she won't complain. To some men, this looks like maturity, but it's actually detachment. She's emotionally leaving, but she's doing it silently. You won't see the pain anymore because she's learned to hide it behind a calm voice. And that's where most relationships start dying, not in the shouting, but in the silence. When she says, "I'm fine," what she's really saying is, "I'm done trying to make you understand how I feel." It's her emotional exit, disguised as patience. She might still smile, she might still be kind, but something in her energy will feel different, colder, calmer, emptier. She's no longer trying to make things better. She's trying to make peace with the fact that it's over, even if it's not official yet. And once a woman reaches that stage, once she emotionally detaches, she rarely goes back to the way she used to love. Because "I'm fine" isn't just 2 words. It's the quiet death of emotional connection. The second sentence that reveals a woman's emotional detachment is, "Do whatever you want." On the surface, it might sound like freedom, like she's giving you space or being easygoing. But in truth, it's not permission. It's resignation. It's the moment she decides that her voice doesn't matter anymore. When a woman starts saying, "Do whatever you want," it's because she's realized that her opinions, feelings, or boundaries don't influence you anymore. It's not about trust. It's about emotional fatigue. She's tired of explaining why certain things hurt her. She's tired of being made to feel like she's overreacting or controlling. So she stops explaining altogether and lets you do what you want, not because she's okay with it, but because she no longer sees the point in trying to stop you. This sentence is quiet, but deadly. It's what she says when she's mentally detached, but still physically there. You might think everything's calm because she's not arguing, but that calmness isn't peace. It's silence before the storm of distance. When she says, do whatever you want, she's emotionally retreating. It means she's no longer fighting for the relationship because she no longer believes it can be fixed. It's her way of protecting her emotional energy from being drained again. And in that moment, she shifts from us to me. She begins to think about her own peace, her own future, her own healing, and that's when the relationship starts to dissolve from the inside. The saddest part is that many men mistake this phase for harmony. They think the relationship has finally become peaceful because she's no longer complaining or demanding attention. But in reality, it's not peace. It's emotional silence. She's learned that speaking up only leads to conflict or indifference, so she stops. But that silence isn't acceptance, it's detachment. When a woman goes quiet, that's when you should worry the most. Because her silence doesn't mean she's happy. It means she's stopped believing that her voice matters to you. In her mind, she starts rewriting her own story. She begins to tell herself, maybe I deserve better. Maybe I've been trying too hard. Maybe it's time to stop caring. And with each thought, her emotional bond weakens. Do whatever you want becomes her mantra of emotional distance. It's her subtle way of saying, I can't control you, but I can control my reaction, and my reaction is to stop caring. A woman's love is one of the most powerful emotional energies you can receive. But when she feels her love isn't valued, she begins to withdraw it piece by piece. She stops asking where you're going. She stops checking in. And she stops worrying about what you're doing, not because she's confident, but because she's disconnected. She's teaching herself to live without you emotionally long before she actually walks away physically. If you ever hear her say, do whatever you want, don't take it lightly. Don't smile and think she's being cool or understanding, because that sentence is her way of saying, I've stopped trying. It's the sound of a woman who has lost her emotional investment. And once that happens, the connection you once had begins to fade, quietly but permanently. When she reaches this stage, she's not angry anymore, she's numb. She no longer argues, no longer expects, no longer explains. That's the scariest silence of all. Because when a woman no longer tries to make things right, it means she's already decided that they never will be. Do whatever you want might sound calm, but it's actually the loudest cry of a heart that's already leaving. The third sentence that reveals a woman's emotional departure is, I don't care anymore. At first, it might sound like anger, but it's not. It's surrender. It's the voice of a woman who has been disappointed so many times that she's finally given up on hoping for something different. When she says, I don't care anymore, she doesn't mean she never cared, she means she cared too deeply for too long, without being seen, heard, or valued. Those 4 words are not born from hate, they are born from heartbreak. They mark the exact moment her emotional investment begins to die, and in relationships, that moment is almost impossible to reverse. A woman who once cared about every detail, who noticed every change in your tone, your behavior, your effort, she now feels nothing. She used to fight for the connection. She used to overthink your words. She used to worry about losing you. But now, she's numb. I don't care anymore is her final defense mechanism, her emotional shield against more pain. She's been ignored, misunderstood, and emotionally neglected for so long that the only way to stop hurting is to stop feeling. And once she stops feeling, everything changes. She no longer reacts, no longer asks questions, no longer checks if you're okay. Because deep down, she's teaching herself that she doesn't need to. It's a quiet transformation that many men fail to notice until it's too late. The woman who used to cry, argue, and overanalyze suddenly becomes indifferent. She no longer complains when you cancel plans. She no longer gets upset when you're distant. And she no longer tries to fix the things that are breaking. That might sound peaceful, but it's actually the calm before emotional disappearance. Because when she says, "I don't care anymore," what she's really saying is, "I'm done hurting myself trying to make you care." This stage is often misunderstood. Some men think she's playing hard to get. Others think she's trying to manipulate. But the truth is, it's not a game, it's grief. She's grieving the emotional death of the connection while still being in it. She's mourning the love that used to feel alive, but now feels like a burden. And because she's emotionally intelligent, she knows she can't keep pouring from an empty cup. So she pulls back. She withdraws her energy to protect what's left of her self-worth. "I don't care anymore" becomes her quiet form of healing. When she says those words, you might still see her smile or act polite, but the spark in her eyes is gone. You'll feel it, that emotional gap between you. Her laughter won't sound the same. Her texts will become shorter, colder, and delayed. Her affection will feel mechanical, not genuine. And no matter how hard you try to get her attention again, it won't be the same, because the version of her who cared endlessly is gone. She's not trying to punish you. She's trying to protect herself. A woman who says, "I don't care anymore," has likely cried in silence, begged the universe for a sign, and fought internal battles you never noticed. But eventually, something inside her breaks. Not loudly, not violently, just quietly, in a way that changes everything. And when that happens, she becomes distant. Her priorities shift. She begins to rebuild her emotional boundaries. You'll sense it when she talks less, when her eyes don't light up, when she stops reacting. That's not a phase, that's emotional detachment. When you reach that point with her, understand this love doesn't die suddenly. It dies from being ignored, from repeated disappointment, from being taken for granted. "I don't care anymore" is not her trying to hurt you. It's her way of saving herself. Because once a woman stops caring, it's almost impossible to make her feel again. She's already halfway gone, not out the door, but out of reach. The fourth sentence that shows a woman has emotionally checked out is, "I just want peace." These 5 simple words carry a world of meaning. They are not about the relationship anymore. They're about survival. When she says, "I just want peace," it means she's tired. Not tired in the way sleep can fix, tired in her soul. She's exhausted from the constant cycle of misunderstandings, conflicts, and emotional highs and lows. She no longer wants to win arguments, prove points, or seek validation. She doesn't crave attention or grand gestures anymore. She just wants calm. And that's how you know she's emotionally gone. Because once a woman stops wanting connection and starts wanting peace, it means she's already accepted that the relationship no longer brings her happiness. This sentence often comes after months, maybe even years of trying. She's tried explaining her feelings, she's tried being patient, she's tried forgiving things she shouldn't have, and she's tried hoping you'd change. But somewhere along the line, she realized that fighting for peace in the relationship was costing her peace of mind. So she stopped. She stopped expecting you to understand, stopped needing you to see her pain, and stopped trying to fix what keeps breaking. "I just want peace" is her quiet exit from emotional chaos. It's not said with anger, it's said with acceptance. Acceptance that love isn't supposed to hurt this much. Acceptance that no amount of effort can bring back what she once felt. When a woman reaches this stage, she begins to detach emotionally to protect her inner world. You'll notice her reactions become minimal. She no longer argues, no longer over-explains, and no longer raises her voice. Instead, she becomes calm, quiet, almost distant. It might look like indifference, but it's really emotional maturity born from pain. She's learned that peace is more valuable than passion that drains her. She doesn't want drama. She wants healing. And that's a stage very few relationships recover from, because once she discovers the beauty of peace, she never wants to return to emotional turbulence again. When she says, "I just want peace," she's no longer fighting to be understood. She's fighting to stay sane. She's tired of defending herself against accusations, tired of feeling unappreciated, tired of the emotional roller coaster. So she detaches, not to punish you, but to preserve herself. She begins to withdraw her emotions the same way someone removes their hand from a flame, not because they want to, but because they have to stop getting burned. That's what detachment really is. Self-protection disguised as calmness. This is when she starts focusing on herself again. She might pick up old hobbies, spend more time alone, or suddenly start prioritizing things that don't involve you. She's not doing it to make you jealous. She's doing it to reconnect with herself. Because she's realized that peace isn't something you find in another person, it's something you create within. "I just want peace" means she's no longer emotionally dependent on you for happiness. She's rediscovering her own strength, the kind of quiet strength that comes after heartbreak, after disappointment, after emotional exhaustion. You'll notice she no longer reacts when you test her limits. The things that used to upset her now get no reaction. She might simply smile, nod, or walk away. That's not coldness, that's clarity. It's the calmness that comes from knowing she's done everything she could. And when she's finally reached that clarity, she realizes that peace is worth more than any relationship that steals her joy. So when she says, "I just want peace," don't mistake it for temporary frustration. It's her farewell in slow motion. It's her saying, "I've fought for us, but now I have to fight for me." And once she reaches that level of peace, there's no going back. Because she's no longer seeking love that costs her her serenity. She's seeking peace that feels like home. And when a woman finds that, she never loses it again, even if it means losing you. The final sentence that reveals a woman has completely detached is, "It's okay." These two little words might sound gentle, forgiving, even kind, but behind them lies the quiet truth that she's already gone. When a woman says, "It's okay," especially after being hurt, ignored, or disappointed again, it doesn't mean she's fine with what happened. It means she's done waiting for an apology that will never come. It means she's accepted the reality of what you've shown her. "It's okay" is her final emotional release, the point where she lets go of expectations, explanations, and even closure. She's not forgiving you to fix the relationship. She's forgiving you to free herself. Before she ever says, "It's okay," she's already gone through every emotional stage: sadness, anger, confusion, denial. She's cried, questioned herself, and tried to understand where things went wrong. But after enough pain, something inside her shifts. She stops searching for reasons, stops chasing clarity, and simply accepts that not everything broken can be repaired. So when she says, "It's okay," she's not saying it to make peace with you. She's saying it to make peace with her heart. It's her way of releasing emotional tension and finally allowing herself to stop trying. You'll notice that her tone is calm, not cold, but calm in a way that feels final. She doesn't argue or defend herself anymore. You can apologize, you can explain, but deep down, you'll sense that her heart is no longer in the conversation. That's because "it's okay" doesn't come from understanding. It comes from acceptance. She's accepted that things will never be what they once were. The connection that once felt unbreakable now feels distant, almost like a memory. And even though she might still care in a soft, distant way, she no longer feels attached. Her love has transformed into something quieter: respect, perhaps, or indifference. But the fire, the emotional bond, the need to be chosen, it's gone. When a woman says, "It's okay," she's closing the chapter in her own heart. She's not asking for anything anymore, not love, not effort, not even an apology. She's emotionally liberated from the expectation that you'll suddenly understand her pain. This is where she reclaims her power. Because the moment she says, "It's okay," and truly means it, she's no longer waiting for someone else to give her peace, she's giving it to herself. It's the most powerful yet heartbreaking sentence a woman can say, because it marks the end of her emotional struggle. And that's how women truly leave. Not by packing bags or slamming doors, but through quiet acceptance. One, "I'm fine" at a time. One, "Do whatever you want." One, "I don't care anymore." One, "I just want peace." And finally one, "It's okay." Each sentence marking another step away from the version of herself that loved you endlessly. When she finally says, "It's okay," she's already imagined her life without you, already accepted the distance, already made peace with the pain. By the time most men realize what's happening, it's already over because emotional detachment happens long before physical separation. A woman doesn't leave when she's angry, she leaves when she feels nothing. That's when the laughter fades, the warmth disappears, and her eyes stop searching for connection. It's not that she stopped loving, it's that she got tired of loving alone. So she chooses peace. She chooses calm. She chooses herself. And once she does, she never goes back to being the same woman again. So if you ever hear these 5 sentences, "I'm fine," "Do whatever you want," "I don't care anymore," "I just want peace," and "It's okay," don't take them lightly. They're not random phrases. They're warnings, soft goodbyes whispered long before she leaves. They're her heart's way of saying, "I tried." And when she's finally gone, you'll remember every moment she tried to hold on and how quietly she let go when she realized you didn't notice. This was Be Feminine, where we help you understand the silent language of women, emotions, and love. If you felt this message deeply, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Because understanding her heart isn't just about keeping her, it's about truly knowing how to love her before it's too late.